Welcome to the Brian Murray Show, a real estate show, New Jersey style. Today's discussion point is going to be the year in review. I'm shooting this episode especially from my office desk because I have the numbers in front of me and it's very real time here, as you can probably see the Christmas coffee cup in the background. So we're right here at the end of December, beginning of January, shooting this real time. So let's talk about two big things when we look at the year in review. We look at the volume and we look at the pricing. Volume is really important because that's what drives everything. As long as people are buying and selling, the market has liquidity, and then the pricing kind of will fall in line and mean more than when there's no volume and things tend to be stagnant, which means that the prices can sometimes artificially drop, or when there's too much volume and the price that can be artificially pumped high because people are just buying because of the buying frenzy. So for Hoboken, the volume this year was down in 2019 was down 7% from 2018. Some of that has to do with the price increases that had come in 2018 that buyers were just not willing to take in 2019, so they held their breath a little bit. Other factors has to do with a little lack of new construction in this marketplace. So there's a couple of reasons why the volume is down 7%, and the prices on average were down 3.5%. I think some of that is a little bit of a trickle over from 2018 as well. Especially the last half of 2018, the prices really dropped between 7 and 10%, and those sales don't really show up until the beginning of 2019. So overall, I think that number is a little bit high when you look at maybe the last 6 months of the year as to where things are going. And then downtown Jersey City, the volume was identical 2019 to 2018. So flat volume, which means that this is a robust market because prices did drop there in the second half of 2018 as well when the interest rates rose. Overall, the prices dropped a 1.5% in Jersey City, and I think that's a little more reflective of maybe the true market than what we were seeing in Hoboken. Jersey City does have an awful lot of new construction properties that have come on the market, new construction condos, both in Newport and downtown by the Ferry Exchange Place, and then also by Grove Street. So there's a combination of all of these new condos being put on the market. Some of their pricing was reflective of 2018 when people locked in at a higher rate prior to the interest rates dropping. So that's today's discussion point on the market where it stands right now. You'll get to see more of the stats at my website, themurraypropertygroup.com, when the final reports are out that are very more detailed about, they really kind of dig deep into what those numbers stand for.
Today's hot topic, the road ahead. People come up to me all the time and say, hey, how's the market? What's going to be happening in 2020? Is this a good time to buy a new home? Is it a good time to upgrade? Should I be selling? They have a lot of questions. A little bit of background. I have now 19 years of experience in this market. I spend a lot of time and resources following people who do a lot of more national and global market expectations, and really understanding what's happening to the economy, what's happening to the housing market in general, what are some of the big impact items that could trickle down locally. And so the road ahead covers a number of important topics, really 5 things that we want to talk about here. 1 is interest rates. 2 is the R word. 3, volume. 4, prices. What's going to happen to prices? And 5, what's going to happen locally in the local market. So interest rates, historically low interest rates. They went up a little bit in end of 2018, caused housing prices to drop. They came back down in 2019. Prices didn't necessarily go up with the drop, but interest rates are holding steady. We have an election coming up in November. That's a long way away. And, historically, when there's an election year, interest rates don't do much. Nobody wants to kick the leg out of the economy during an election cycle. So interest rates, you shouldn't see wild swings for the next year. After that, all bets are off. But it's really important to focus on the fact that with interest rates, you live in the payment, not the price. And interest rates drive the payment. The R word, recession. You've heard a lot about that in the media, especially in the last 3 months or so. What I'm hearing is that there is no recession. There's not a recession coming in 2020. Don't bet on it. As it affects your home purchase, sale, don't bet on the recession. That's what I'm hearing across the board. Volume. Volume nationally is up, and it's going to be up again next year. And, that's good for the housing market and overall, that homes are being sold and bought. Locally, volume has been down a little bit this year, but, still within a range that homes are still being bought and sold at a volume that makes the market really liquid. And I would expect that would continue on. Prices. What's going to happen to prices? The road ahead 2020. Everybody wants to know the big ticket item is what's going to happen to prices. Historically, prices inch up over time. We went through a period where we got double-digit growth for 4, 5, 6 years in a row in the starting in about 2011 and going up from there, and then flattened in 17 and dropped in 18 and flattened in 19. So with the historically low interest rates, the volume of homes on the market available for sale is relatively short in supply. I would say that they're going to put pressure on prices to go up. But it's an upward pressure there. The caveat being what's happening in Manhattan to the plus $5 million glut is getting hurt in Manhattan. We're starting to see the $3 million plus homes getting some downward pressure. Once you get to about $2 million in Manhattan and some downward pressure on there, you will start to see some trickle-down effect into the waterfront markets here in Jersey. And that's the prices, and that's kind of the local piece as well. In terms of additional local pieces, it's the amount of new construction building and the supply coming on the market. You're not really seeing a lot in Hoboken, just basically because it's a mature market. In Jersey City, you are seeing some larger projects that are getting built, high-end projects on the waterfront, certainly that are bringing homes to the market. I'm not sure how apples to apples they are to the existing housing inventory because they are just more of a luxury product. And then up the coast there, in Weehawken, you're seeing a lot of construction. But people have to decide whether they want to really live in Weehawken because it's a different community than, say, a Hoboken or a Jersey City. So, while there is some construction going on there, I don't anticipate that that's going to have a major impact on the overall prices that you're going to see in Hoboken and even most parts of Jersey City. So that's the road ahead. The good, the bad, the ugly. The good. Hey, it's 2020 and we all get a fresh start. Those things we were putting off, we get to start again here in 2020. That's great. Every year you get a new calendar, you get a new chance to do new things. That's the good. The bad, you missed 2019. It's over. It's in the past. If you didn't accomplish something in 2019 that you really wanted to, well, you just didn't do it. We can live with that, and we're going to have to move forward. Focus on the good, not the bad. And the ugly. New Year's Eve is ugly. Everything is crowded. Everything is overpriced. Times Square is a mess. You have tourists everywhere jamming up the PATH trains, going into Times Square, going into the city for New Year's Eve. So it's almost like a giant SantaCon without the Santa suits. And it's super expensive. You're better off going out on the Friday after New Year's Eve or the Saturday after. For the same price, you can do double the fun stuff. You can have twice as much food. You can have twice as quality of a time for the same price. And everything won't be nearly as crowded. You won't have to wait for your dinner. You won't have to wait for, to get into the restaurant or bar. And if you really want to put the little funny hat on and the noisemaker, people will give you funny looks, but so what? You look at all the money you're saving. That's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today's inspiration for 2020. Time is what we want most, but use worst. My hope for you for 2020 is that you make the most of it and you use your time super productively. Like watching The Brian Murray Show. And thanks for watching. If you did find any portion of the show useful, helpful, please go onto my Instagram and like it, share it. Past episodes are on my website at themurraypropertygroup.com. I welcome all of your questions and comments. And if there's anything that you disagreed with, please reach out to me and I'll tell you why you're wrong.